Today I'm reviewing A Bug's Life, the video game. Today I'm reviewing John Wick, the video game. Today I'm reviewing Keanu Reeves, the man.
Your membership to the Continental has been by thine own hand revoked.
Okay, fine, I'm reviewing Cyberpunk 2077. I actually bought this game on release day about 3.5 years ago as a bright-eyed, naive little 27-year-old. After all the hype and all the delays, and all the press around John Wick himself being in the game, I was pumped.
69.
Then I saw the reviews. Enough time has passed now that some of you may have forgotten what an absolute disaster this game was released as. Let's take a moment and take ourselves back to that fateful day. After years of marketing, all of that cachet that they had built up was instantly destroyed the moment this thing launched because it was so full of bugs, crashes, bad AI, it was virtually unplayable. It was like getting kissed by your crush only to find out that they did it as a prank. CDPR did us dirty, and not in a good way. But they promised to fix it, and they've spent the last 3.5 years releasing patch after patch after patch, and even a DLC to try and salvage what was left of their dignity. So I decided to find out if it worked. In Cyberpunk 2077, you play as V, a mercenary in a futuristic city. You get to create your own V, male or female, and after creating an abomination in the character creator, you're released into Night City, where you spend the rest of the game trying to get laid.
You keen on earning a coin?
Or maybe that was just me. The actual story is that during a heist to steal the relic, things get spicy and you're forced to shove it in your hole.
Shit!
Your data hole, that is. You see, in the future, everyone has a sort of USB slot in the side of their head that they can use to download data off of shards, which are USB sticks of the future. Anyways, after you shard in your hole, you find out that the relic is actually Johnny Silverhand, a rockstar terrorist from 50 years ago, whose personality and memories have been digitized and stored as a sort of AI. This AI starts to invade your body and take over, which is slowly killing you in the process.
I can feel it. Our minds touching. I'm like mold on fruit, creeping into you. Nothing I can do about it. You hear me?
And I should clarify here, when I say he's a rockstar terrorist, I mean he's a rock star and a terrorist. He's not just like a really good terrorist. Night City is a dangerous place though. They've been taken over by Megacorps. That's a really big corporation for the mouth breathers. And they've basically monetized the world to death and created a massive wealth inequality in the process. Sound familiar? As V is making his way through this hellscape, he grapples with the existential crisis of losing himself to Night City, both figuratively and literally. The rest of the story revolves around your quest to rid yourself of the AI and find a way to make peace with the world. I can already hear you screaming, but did they fix the bugs? Alright, well let's tackle that one first then. The short answer is yes, but also no. I really can't emphasize too much how much of an abysmal failure this game was at launch. Like, it was a total train wreck, like people that put pineapple on pizza. Compared to that, it's much better, but like, the bar was on the floor. Overall, the game is playable, but I still had my fair share of weird physics and even a handful of crashes. It's not perfect, but it's serviceable. Almost as serviceable as today's sponsor, me. I paid for everything. Subscribe and maybe one day I won't have to. After almost 4 years of waiting, it comes as a great relief for me to say that I actually quite enjoyed this game.
People keep asking if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
The standout for me is the world and the characters. The map is big enough to feel explorable, but not so big that it feels like it's just a bunch of filler and empty space. I think they really nailed the density of the shops and the fast travel points and general things to see. I often found myself just cruising along with traffic and admiring the city. There are, however, some weirdly inaccessible parts of the map, like here's the map and here's the parts you can't go to. The whole airport, the oil rigs in the north, and this weird little sliver in the southern part of the city are all completely blocked off. Can't get into them at all. I haven't touched the Phantom Liberty DLC yet, so maybe it's open in there, but thought it was worth mentioning. Those parts can't get in there. The parts you can get into are pretty cool though, even if you can't ride the roller coaster. The other part that makes the world feel alive is the characters both in the main and the side missions. In my Hogwarts Legacy review, I complained that the characters were all kind of vanilla and boring. In Cyberpunk, that's not the case at all. None of these characters feel like NPCs. They feel like you're having a conversation with a real person every time.
Circumstances were different, I'd say saddle up and ride after her. But here and now, just look. Damn hard to catch a girl like that. Only hope you've got is they feel a pang and stop to wait.
The language is natural, the voice acting is top-notch, like really some of the best you're gonna find. And funny enough, V, the main character, is probably the most boring of them all, but that's probably just to make him more relatable to a wider audience, so I can forgive that.
Catch you later, Brendan.
Catch me? Why? Will I be falling?
It's just something you say as a way of goodbye.
Oh, I get it.
The only thing that brought it down was a delay that often shows up in between bits of dialogue as it's loading up the next file. Not a huge deal, but it's sometimes kind of annoying. It's a bit of a CDPR trademark to have top-notch side quests, and this game absolutely delivers on that front. It's maybe even better than The Witcher 3. Maybe not. I don't know, it's close. Further adding to immersiveness is the implementation of the main story. The story itself, I'd say, is pretty good, but not excellent. The narrative is interesting, but I felt it bounces between the side characters a little bit too much, and it doesn't really give you enough time to form a connection with them. I did, however, appreciate the choose-your-own-adventure nature of the story. The middle two-thirds are the same regardless of what you choose, but there are unique starting and ending missions depending on what faction you choose in the beginning, and what decisions you make at the end of the game. Where the endings in Witcher 3 mostly boil down to just different cutscenes once you finish the game, Cyberpunk actually gives you fully unique missions to play through for the different endings. And when you're done, it resets you back to the start of the last mission, so you can replay it again and get all the different endings without having to replay the whole game. Nice. Your faction also gives you unique dialogue options throughout the story as well, which is a nice touch. Moving on to Traversal. With such a big map, you need some kind of options to get around, and Cyberpunk offers both fast travel points and a subway system that you can ride around. Neat. My favorite though is, of course, driving. I'm a bit of a car nerd, and Night City gives you a beautiful selection of cars that you can either steal or buy. You don't get John Wick's Mustang, unfortunately, but you do get Johnny Silverhand's 930 Porsche 911 Turbo. Sick. There's also cars ranging from the back alley special to the get out of my way peasants, and everything in between. Some of them even have guns if you want to go full twisted metal. It's actually quite satisfying to light up a group of baddies with twin machine guns while you sit back listening to your favorite tunes and sipping on a big gulp. I also appreciate that the different vehicles here actually feel like different vehicles. They're not just one physics model with a bunch of different skins stuck on top. The trucks feel heavy and slow, the sports cars feel fast and light, and they even differentiate between cars that are front, rear, or all-wheel drive. They each have their own handling and traction characteristics. It's also nice to hear that V8s are still alive and well in the future. The only downside here is that the cars are not customizable or upgradable, so you kind of get what you get. Finally, let's talk weapons and upgrades. Honestly, I could make a whole video on this topic. I'm not going to, but I could. Your body is fully upgradable with the finest chrome, and even above and beyond the basic skill tree, there's hundreds of cyberware upgrades that give you perks for your armor, hacking abilities, melee combat, tech weapon interface, and buffs for everything you can think of. You can have fun just playing with yourself all day, and then you can play Cyberpunk. When you're done fiddling with your junk, you can try out the pew-pews too. There's pistols, assault rifles, submachine guns, snipers, heavy machine guns, shotguns, and an assortment of melee items. These are all technically upgradable, but I found it faster and easier to just lift a new weapon off of fallen baddies than bothering to find upgrade materials and messing around in the crafting system. 5-finger discount all the way then. Annoyingly, there are no rocket launchers, but there are a few late game weapons that use explosive ammunition, so like, close enough I guess. So, I waited almost 4 years to play Cyberpunk. Was it worth it? I'm gonna go with, yeah, it was. I'm glad I didn't play this thing when it was new because it probably would have tainted my view of it beyond repair. CDPR has definitely taken the long road, but they've finally reached a point where Cyberpunk is good enough that its strengths outweigh its weaknesses. I put 70 hours into the base game, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I fully recommend this game to anyone that likes GTA-style open-world shooters. It's not perfect, but it's still pretty damn good.
On behalf of the staff of the Independent California Motel, I wish you all sweet dreams.